Alright, it's Tuesday, August 9th, 2022. I'm not leaving anytime soon, but I've already packed up the bed. The bike is taking a charge still. This was a good learning experience. It's one of those necessary evils. If you gotta do it, you gotta do it. But apparently the battery charger I have, if the battery is too dead, it won't start charging, which is pretty common on lithium batteries. There's supposed to be a low voltage cutoff, so you don't get it down too low. So what I ended up doing was I can program the battery charger. I think it's got up to 4 different profiles. I've done at least 4. Oh, there's a rabbit right on the edge of the pavement over there, right by the flag. There we go. Anyway, so what I was doing is I set a new profile. The battery is about 42 volts, so I charged it to 44 first, and then to 48, and then it's now going to 53. So if you do it in stages, then it would work. You know, it can only go so low. But anyway, I don't see a way around that. But it works. So I just, what I have to do is keep walking over there and checking it and seeing how it's doing. Yeah, and I think that would be the same strategy I'll have to use with these tool batteries. I don't know if I'm going to have time to do it today or not. Oh, that's cool. It's getting orange now. I looked up a second ago and it was pink, and by the time I grabbed the camera it had faded already. Pretty cool. Anyway, if I was going to do this a lot, I would have a extension cord that would reach, from there to here, like a 50-footer or something like that.
Did you know videos like these are supported entirely from donations by people like you? It's true. If you'd like to help out and keep my wheels rolling, keep me wheels rolling, man, go ahead and click on the link down in the description, or I'll put something up on screen. You guys can check it out. You can do PayPal, you can do YouTube members every month, or you can do a YouTube super thanks, the little heart-shaped thing down next to the like button. Throw me a few bucks every now and then, that would be great. Help me buy lately tires and tires and tubes, or maybe food like Cliff Bars or cheeseburgers or something like that. It does make life a little more bearable out on the road. But anyway, as always, thanks for your support, and stay tuned. Back to the show.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of me. Shower last night. Everyone is different, it seems like. But on this one, you could put in, like, I forget what the minimum was, 1 or 2 quarters would give you 4 minutes or something like that. I think it was 2 quarters for 4 minutes. And you could go up to 15 quarters if you wanted. Like, that's a little bit extreme. So I put in 5 or 6, and I think that was supposed to be good for 10 minutes. And I was like, I'm in the mentality of hurry up so you don't run out, right? So I got wet, soaped up, and rinsed off, and then waited, and then waited. It was like I almost, because you could shut the water off, and I'm like, I didn't want to waste it, but I'm like, it felt good. So I just sat there and let it run. It's like, finally it ran out. I'm like, okay. So I think in the next one, which I'm not going to take another shower here, and I think the next one is going to be in New Mexico, and I don't remember if they even had a timer on theirs. I can't remember if I put quarters in New Mexico or not. But if you look at the numbers, could you just put in 2 quarters and use that to get wet and soap up, and then let it run out, and then when you're ready to rinse, then put in 2 quarters, or something like that. But I wish there was a way you could just push the button and get a refund for what you didn't use. That would be a lot better. But anyway, another idea I had one time was take a bucket in with you, and when you're not actually in the water, you could have it filling the bucket up, and then if nothing else, you could use the bucket to rinse off with if you ran out, or something like that. But Anywho, yeah, I slept really good, saw lots of stars. I was surprised when I saw the clouds this morning because it was really clear last night. It was kind of almost cold. And then my towel was wet, and usually I would use my towel for my pillow because I don't take a shower every day, so I just wrapped up my jacket in a little wad, and that made a pretty good pillow too. So, yeah. Anyway, I think I'm going to eat some breakfast and kind of monitor the battery charging, and it's not supposed to rain today. It's just going to get cloudy for a while. Actually, the forecast was all sun, so I'm hoping once, the sun comes up, it'll burn off the clouds. That's what happened yesterday. So I got a bunch of tire tubes I can fix, so I'll work on that next. And get that done. Yeah. I'll hit the road when I have enough power to do it, but I should be able to patch tubes in the meantime and get everything else done. And yeah. Anyway, that's it for now. Breakfast. Well, when you see a Cobra, you gotta stop and get a picture, right? That's the Army one, single engine. The Marines have double engines. The newest Marine one is a 4-blade main rotor. Zulu model, I think. I worked on the Whiskies in China Lake. The W's. So when you run out of letters, it's time to make a new one, I guess. That's pretty cool. Right next to the real helicopter landing pad, so let's get out of here before we get landed on. Yeah, it's about 9:30, hitting the road. I'm going to test that wheel for a while, see if I like it or not. It was funny, this morning when I went to leave, it had a flat spot on the bottom from being parked, and it took it about a mile to get round again. Yeah, that's going to be a little bit of a problem. Anyway, off we go. Just another iconic, wonderful view here. Been going about half an hour, just out of town, really. I wanted to get a shot of this while I'm thinking about it. That's the mirror. Normally it would stand up, but it's long enough. I put a little S-turn in it, put a couple hose clamps on there. I think that'll get me home. I needed something. I didn't want to have to go buy another one. Odds are it'll get broken anyway, so. I mean, like, that's the third reflector already. Yeah. Anyway, off we go. Pretty nice day so far. We're mile 37, it's just up ahead. In about 20 miles, we've got about 20 miles of relative easy. Go away. Alright, we got about 20 miles of relative easy riding, and then 15 miles we're going to climb 2,000 feet. We're going to top out at about 8,000 feet, but we're already at 6,000. Probably right there. I looked it up this morning, I forgot to put it on the video. After today, I've got about 500 miles left. So, if I can hold 50-mile days average, which I think I can, so 10 or 11 days looks like, yeah, that'll be cool. Okay, we're into the serious walking now. About 6 miles from the summit. We're over 6,000 feet. It's going to be over 8,000 feet at the summit. I did ride up until about mile 8 though. Mile 0 should be state line, and I think that's going to be the summit. So we're doing okay actually. It's obviously no fun walking, but it's faster walking. I got 46 volts, so we're not doing terrible on the battery.
if I rode, I really would hit it hard, but if I'm pushing, it uses less power. What I'm finding is there's a sweet spot. If I can maintain 6 or 7 miles an hour, the motor's pretty efficient and I can go pretty good. If it drops down to 3 miles an hour, I'm better off walking. So if I go below 4 or 5, I usually just stop and walk. It's easier, you know. And then if it levels off a little bit, I'll jump back on because I can go 10 or 12 miles an hour instead of 3 miles an hour. So it's just, you know, whatever's faster. You know, if you're out mountain biking for the sake of exercise, yeah, you'll try to get all the way up the hill just to prove you can do it. But if you're trying to get into the next state, I don't care how I get there. I'm just going to get there. So, yeah. Stopped at a Walmart at the bottom of the hill. That was a tough call. I was like, well, do I want to buy more heavy stuff? But I'm like, well, I needed Cliff Bars and bagels anyway, so I thought, why not? Go ahead and stop and get some stuff. And I just realized my helmet broke again. Anyway, so, and then there was ice cream and Coke. I'm like, okay, I need that for coming up the hill. So ate a little half pint of ice cream in the parking lot. I felt like I had energy then. Never would have made it without that. Also, we get a tailwind, although I'm not sure how much tailwind helps going up a hill. It's psychological. Go. Well, it's not for lack of trying. I swear I have virtually nothing left. Okay, in a half a mile, exit 460, that is New Mexico. There's a way station right in the entrance of New Mexico, right? I can't see without my glasses what that other sign says. One of it was prepay pass, so if you have a truck with the pre-pass, stay in the right lane. They can scan you as you drive by, so you don't have to come in. Anyway, so the way station is probably right around at the very summit. We are in the last mile. I passed the 1 mile marker. Just as I passed the 1 mile marker, the battery went completely offline. Cycle analyst shuts down. So what I've been doing the last 4 miles, I was using walk assist and pushing, and that was using less power than riding. But anytime I got, well, really in the last 8 miles, if I could ride, I did. If it was too steep, then I didn't. Right? But I was doing my best. All right. So I see this fence here, which is like, oh, the fence will keep the bad people out. This will make it safer for me, right? That's how you have to look at it in a survival situation. This is local access for this tower that's up here, right? And then the twisted side of my brain is thinking, there's a power line going to the tower. I wonder if there's a place I can plug my bike in to recharge it. So let's go from trespassing to stealing power to tampering with infrastructure, I think would probably be it. That's probably federal. That could be federal. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. They'd probably get really upset about that. If you're here camping, well, okay, you're just an idiot. If you're over there stealing power and hopping, I mean, there would have to be a fence. And then, you know, yeah, just don't go there. But yeah, that was the very first thing that crossed my mind when I came around the corner. I'm like, oh, there's power. It's like, no. And like literally, that's the sun behind that last cloud just about to go down. So if I had gotten here an hour sooner, I could have gotten some charge. I'm hoping the sun comes up over there. That will give me probably 8 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock, something like that. I'll start to get a charge. So I'm not going to leave here until I have enough power to get over the hill, which is a mile. So I'm going to just take my sweet ass time tomorrow and let this thing charge for a while. I'm like literally 40 volts, 39, something like that. That's about the lowest I've ever gone. So then the other part of my brain is like, well, what do I have, right? I've got 3 of the Harbor Freight tool batteries. That was one of the fallback plans originally. I'd have to remake an adapter, but I could either one, take 2 of the Harbor Freights, give me a 40 volt system, and I have ran that motor off of that configuration. I wouldn't get very far on just 2. Or I could wire it for 3 batteries. That would give me 60 volts, That's even higher than I've been running. I've been running at 53, so 60 would be just flying. That would work. I did look into that. I'm pretty sure this can handle that. It wouldn't give very much run time, but it would get me over the top of the hill probably. So if that was what it was, you know, I could do that. And I do have enough connectors still. I could probably do that. Unfortunately, the set of connectors I made when I was using those batteries, I don't have. I mailed them home in a separate box, and then I ended up I was planning on mailing those batteries home, and then I realized I couldn't, so I've got them. So I've been using them to run the phone. Oh, that's another thing. I think what's happening, I've got a 48 volt to 12 volt down converter that was part of the original build. I'm going to put my sweats on here pretty soon. I already got my sweatshirt on. So this is the charge controller that's just at the point of going offline. The one next to it, this guy converts battery voltage from the bike down to 12 volts. That's how I run a red flashing light. I've been noticing the last couple days this doesn't look very bright anymore, and my phone charger on the handlebars quit working, or it's just barely working, right? So I think that part is failing, or it might just have a bad connection, which I could take some time maybe tonight, well maybe tomorrow, because I'll have to sit here for a while, so maybe I'll do that in the morning. I'll just take the time. It was kind of awkward to get in there, but I do have time. So if I can get around in there, so it's not just the phone USB adapter. I think it's actually that converter, which is weird. They don't usually go bad, but or it's got a loose connection. That's more likely. So I can troubleshoot that tomorrow, probably. Doesn't make sense to do it today because my battery voltage is so low. I wouldn't get an accurate reading probably anyway. It might work. I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna put my pants on and warm up a little bit. I literally went from pouring sweat. I mean, you can see my seat is all gross from the butt sweat. Yeah, let's rub that on everything. That's a whole new level of gross right there. So yeah, I got butt sweat coming. I'm just drenched with sweat. And then all of a sudden the wind kicks up as the sun goes down. I'm in the shadow of the hill. Wait, hang on. There we go. Oh, that's not horrible. There we go. Let's just do that. So I'm in the shadow of the hill, and it's like, okay, I got no solar, so even if I stop, I'm not going to get any more charge. So I'm just taking the shortest breaks possible to catch my breath and to keep going. All of a sudden I realize, crap, I'm just completely soaked with sweat. Now it's going to get dark and windy, and I'm going to be cold. And the hill is steep enough the last couple of miles. I'm like, I don't know if I can safely let go of the bike without it rolling back down the hill. Now, wouldn't that be a heartbreak? You know, you're like, not only did I not make it up the hill, but now I have to go down the hill and get the bike and try to get up the hill again. There, stay there, do that. Anyway, so that was, well, okay, so the last part, I'm like, okay, I had envisioned, that's a big word, I had come up with the idea. I was looking at the map, zoomed in, right at the state line, there's a turnout. I'm like, oh, okay. You know, maybe it's for the snowplow guys to turn around and go back down the other side, or the state patrol to turn around and go back into their own state at mile 0, right? So there's a little turnout and a underpass, it looked like, and probably some little parking on each side of the road. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of nice. I'll just park there. That was my plan. And then as I'm coming up the hill, I realized that's the way station. Odds are they're not going to be real happy with me parking there. Now, maybe if I just say it's safety, they'd let me slide, because it's like, dude, the sun just went down. I don't want to be going down the other side of this mountain in the dark without a working tail light. You know, I'm just, you know, I thought I'd be up here sooner, you know, but that's the best I could do. Okay, so odds are if I, you know, threw myself on the mercy of the court or whatever, plead stupidity or beg for, what do they always say? It's better to beg forgiveness than to ask permission. That's how I got through high school, I think it was. Anyway, And if you ask, they'll say no. If you just go ahead and do it, you might get away with it. And if not, at least you had the fun of the experience, even if you're in jail. Yeah, got to make it worthwhile. Yeah, it's annoying. There's just this little bit of sun hitting the hill, right? But it would be, I mean, it would be something, but it's not. What I would need is an hour up here with that kind of sun. Would have been useful. Maybe not enough to get moving in the morning, but at least useful. Yeah, anyway, I'm pooped. This was a toss-up as I'm leaving. I don't remember what that town is at the bottom of the hill. Maybe I'll flash it up on the screen later. Anyway, a little town at the bottom of the hill. It's like 15 miles, mile 16, something like that from the border. And I'm like, I should stop and buy something because I've got no bananas. I've got a few Cliff Bars, no bagels. I was out of food basically. But at the same time, I didn't want to go buy a bunch of stuff and then haul it up the hill, right? We're going to be at about 8,000 feet at the top, but we were at 6,000 at the bottom, so it was only a 2,000 foot climb. If you see this truck here, he is not flying up the hill. I had one guy go past me. He was going past me, but I looked up and we kind of waved at each other. It's like he wasn't going much faster than I was, and I was walking. So he maybe had 10 miles an hour and I had 3, So it's a pretty solid hill. Anyways, I'm down at the bottom and I see there's construction ahead, and then I see a sign for a Walmart. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stop it and hit the Walmart. So I'm like, okay, just get the essentials. And then I'm thinking about it. I'm like, okay, big hill, I want to get a Coke. And so I bought Walmart brand, a 6-pack of the half-liter bottles. I'm like, okay. I was just going to get a 2-liter, but that is really big. And it seems like the trailer's getting more and more full right now. I ended up I got 2 1-gallon water jugs that are both about half full. But I wanted to hang on to the empty jugs even if I don't have water in them so I can refill them again. Sometimes you get, if you get a rest area, you can get free water. If you buy water, it's $1. It's not a big deal for a gallon of water. Anyway, so I get hit the Walmart. I'm like, okay, so I got ice cream, I got Coke, I got some bananas, ate the ice cream, drank the first Coke in the parking lot. That seemed like it was a good idea. But that put me an hour behind, by the time you get in and get everything. And earlier, at the other end of that little town, there was a rest area. And I was already feeling pretty tired. And I'm like, okay, I had really good sun. So I just parked the bike, aimed it at the sun, went over, found a picnic table, and lay down on one of the picnic table benches and fell asleep for about an hour, I think, which felt really good. I woke up, I really wanted to just stay there. I was like, man, I really want to stay there. But my mission, I wanted to get out of Colorado. And here I am, half a mile from the border. It's like, well, pretty close. At least I'm in a good spot for tomorrow. I'll just be, half a mile up and then down the other side, so we'll have a lot of fun coming down. And that's the thing, I don't have to wait, I don't have to fully charge the battery because I'll be regen all the way down the hill, so that part will be good. That's what I did. Continental Divide, kind of the same thing. I got up the hill, there was a rest area at the top, and so I just stopped at the top, stayed at the rest area, and then got a little bit of sun and then regened all the way down, and then it was enough. And then I had I could see I had a long, pretty level section after that, and by 9 o'clock I had enough sun to keep going, so then we're fine again. Anyway, but I guess that was my thought is, okay, if I had not stopped for an hour at the rest area, plus wasted time at the Walmart, I would have hit the top here with an hour of sun left, and I could have made it over the top. I could have then coasted down the other side a little bit, but then I was like, well, I don't really want to get down to the first town and then run out of daylight, because then I'm looking at a town. And I thought, before I knew the rest, or the way station was here, I knew there was a pull out there, so I was just going to stop there. And then I realized after the fact it was a way station. For whatever reason, my my GPS map on the phone didn't mention it was a way station. Yeah, it's not a trucker's GPS, so it wouldn't have marked it as a way station. It just showed a little turnout there. So did not cross my mind. Oh, there's a little bit of sun. Anyway, all right. I've got Coke. I've got cookies. Already ate the ice cream, but I got cookies, Cliff Bars, bananas. I'm gonna eat. I'm hungry. Set up camp before it gets dark. Just look around, make sure we're basically safe. I was going to take a picture. There's a picture coming up the road. Big picture of a bear. You know, not deer, bear. Oh, perfect. Let's camp here. After I promised I wouldn't get eaten by... Well, no, I only promised no polar bears. Do what you got to do. There it is. As long as I'm not up here cooking bacon, we should be fine. I think I've got cell phone coverage up here, so I should be able to upload. Oh, I found the perfect vehicle for my master plan. I'll put a picture up at the end of the video, just in case anybody's still watching. I've always wanted to do this. It's like what I was kind of thinking. Do the bike adventure for a couple more years, then maybe play around with the boat. I don't know, Mississippi, Intercoastal Waterway on the East Coast, something like that. Do some, Tom Sawyer exploring. It's like with solar and electric, and I've already got the lithium batteries, I could do a neat little, make a little scale pontoon boat that could go up and down the Mississippi. It'd just be kind of a fun adventure. For all the time I spend in the Navy, I don't know a dang thing about boats, but it sounds like fun. Let's just go with that. Anyway, but then I thought, okay, I got to come up with little projects like that aren't very expensive, that I could handle on my little meager budget. And then when I hit retirement age, like, Social Security is like 62 and a half is the minimum. Okay, so that's 7 years away, something like that. So I got a ways yet, but then I would do van life. I don't know if I might get a van sooner, but my thought was I really wanted to do some kind of an electric van, put solar on the roof. I wouldn't be able to drive it continuously the way I've been doing the bicycle, but if I set the van up that it could be fast charged if I needed to, or I could park for a while, like, go camping, put the solar out, have extra panels that you can put out. 3 or 4 days, you'd have enough solar to maybe go 100 miles. Okay, drive for an hour or two, get to the next place you want to camp. Okay. And then after that, when you're parked, then take, where's my bike? Then take just the bike without the solar. So leave the solar in camp, let it recharge the van. I can take the bike on day trips, come back at night, swap batteries, go out the next day. Meantime, the van is sitting there charging. And then what I was thinking about that last night and today, the campsite I was at, state campsite, was only $36, and it had electric hookups. So all you'd have to do is make an adapter that you could charge your electric vehicle from the 50 amp service. Okay. So for $36, you could sleep there. You'd have water, you'd have showers, and you could recharge your vehicle. That might be pretty cool. Okay, so maybe once a week, do a paid campsite where you can recharge everything and then, drive around in between. The new vehicles can drive 300 or 400 miles on a charge now. So if you did a van that could do 200 miles, that seems reasonable. Okay. Well, then I got to thinking, there's this vehicle I've seen a few times. I'm pretty sure it's made in Oregon. And I completely forgot about it when I was in Oregon. Or I would have gone and looked for them. But I'm pretty sure it's the Archimoto. It's technically a motorcycle. It's got 2 front wheels. And it's front wheel drive. So it's got a motor in the middle, or 2 motors, and half shafts that go out and drive the front wheels. And then the rear wheel, I don't think it's even driven, but it's got disc brakes. So it's got 3 disc brakes, independent front suspension, 2-person seating, but you sit fore and aft, so your passenger sits behind you, right? they've crash tested these things. It's like the only 3-wheel vehicle that's ever passed a crash test, which is kind of, I think that's, if that's true, that's pretty amazing. Anyway, I don't remember how much they cost, but right now they've got a 100-mile electric range. So all of a sudden I just like, it clicked, because I was going to build something like that. And I'm like, well, yeah, why don't I just go buy one? You know, that's a clever shortcut. And then make a little teardrop trailer that would be the same size as it. It doesn't have solar, but it's got a fairly small battery. I think it's got a 100-mile range. It's not a bicycle. It is actually considered a motorcycle, but it's got a windshield, basically a roll cage. You can put doors on it, but it's got seat belts, right? Which is kind of weird, but state by state, I think they're releasing them, and they're picking the states that they can get them legal first, and then they're going to the next state. So it's not everywhere yet. No idea if it's legal in Texas or not. And I don't remember how much they cost. I think it's less than $10,000. That's all I can remember for sure. But my thought was, put a little teardrop behind it, put solar on the roof, put solar on the teardrop, and have flexible solar panels that you can deploy like an awning off of the trailer when you're parked. If you parked it 3 days, you'd probably have enough for 100 miles. That's perfect. And then you could have the electric bike as a tow vehicle and mount the electric bike onto the side of the teardrop when you're driving. That seems fair, you know. Anyway, it just kind of clicked in my head as I'm pushing the bike up the hill. Oh man, am I ever glad I fully charged the bike last night at the campsite. I was running a lot of power today, so I think I hit 60 miles today. So it was a good haul and a pretty good hill and some climbing, and wind really wasn't a factor, but yeah, it was a pretty solid day. So that keeps me on average, and we're about 500 miles from home now. I think 500 when I cross the state line, because it's 400, well, it says 460. I'm not sure. It's at least 455, 460 through New Mexico. Could be 550 miles to home then. I might change my route again. Might go through Alamogordo. One, I've never been that way, and two, it would get me off the interstates. So, maybe. Alright, that's it. I'm done. I am done. Whew. Yeah, okay. I'll sit here and enjoy the sunset and eat my tasty cookies and drink my Coke and think about all the bad decisions I made in my life. It doesn't get much better than this though. This is pretty awesome. Alright, thanks for following along. Welcome to the new subscribers. Thanks for all the support, and see you tomorrow. Bye for now. Yeah, boop. Alright, just a little quick update. I just looked. It's 56 miles today is how far I went. I thought for sure I was more than 60, but I was setting my navigation to the next little town, which was about 8 miles down the hill. So that would have given me 63 or 64 or something like that. So, plus I'm half a mile short of the border anyway. So I thought for sure I'd make it to the border. I really did. So 56 or whatever. But a heck of a climb. I don't feel bad about stopping here. I was starting to think, you know, the last 4 miles, because I'm looking, it's like, okay, it's going to get dark. And then I'm thinking the way station isn't probably the best place for me to be. So I was like, okay, do not turn down an opportunity to find a little spot. And this worked out pretty well. So far it works out pretty good. And I got like clover, I think, growing here. It's like, I can smell it. It's like something smells really nice here. So it's not horrible. It's berries? Couldn't be berries. Better not be berries. Anyway, yeah, this is nice. Not as nice as the place with the shower, but still pretty nice. So, yeah. All right, that's it for now. Bye.